Videoing me driving to the grocery store. So these are tomatillos. I actually mentioned these in one of my recipes for the chicken mole. They are normally near the tomatoes. They have a kind of a crispy outside that you pull away and have a very sticky texture. They're super delicious and they kind of make the sauce. So I like to grab a few just to have on hand most of the time, but especially when I make this dish. Okay, so this is cilantro, or also known as coriander. And the reason why it's called coriander is because when it's a seed, you can use coriander seeds in your cooking. The way you can kind of tell, and the way I tell between parsley and cilantro is the smell. Cilantro has a very distinctive smell, and also the leaves are bigger, so you know what you're picking. Here's some stuff we'll use for the mole. This is called thyme. Normally you just use the little leaves right off of it, but in the mole sauce we're going to use an entire sprig of this. If you are at the grocery store and you don't have basil on hand, make sure to really look at the prices and see if it's affordable. These are jalapenos. They're one of my favorite peppers to work with. They're not too hot. If you want your mole sauce less spicy, you can take the seeds out. This is potato gnocchi. They can be found in the pasta aisle. They're round, they're kind of interesting looking, and they taste amazing. So I just wanted to also mention to you, earlier we bought a lot of fresh herbs, fresh cilantro, fresh basil, and things like that. But there are options where you can actually buy dried herbs. Dried herbs can be used in stews, they can be used in soups, they can be used to enhance flavor on meats and things like that, like dried oregano, dried basil, dried cilantro are all very pantry safe and can last you a lot longer than fresh herbs. I personally like to use fresh herbs in certain cases like the mole sauce instead of dried. It just adds a little more intense flavor. But again, like in a tomato sauce, dried basil can be perfectly great, just as good as fresh, and it might even save you a couple bucks. There are some certain appliances and tools that I think would benefit you not only in college, but also in your small apartment, dorm room, or shared house, or even your own little house. Coffee maker can make tea. It can also make coffee. Here's another cool thing. This is a blender, as most of you probably have seen before. If not, here you go. Perfect example. These can be used in place of food processors even. I made pesto in one of these once and it turned out beautifully. Here's a tiny little crock pot. Easily storage. You can, plug it in your house. It doesn't take up that much counter space and it's a perfect tool to use for my chicken mole. Whether you want to make stews, even my chicken chili recipe would work perfectly in something like this. And a lot of the times you can actually find a lot of your essentials at a grocery store or even at like your basic department store. So these are just a few that I was kind of walking by at the store and I figured I'd stop and kind of tell you all about it a little bit. So this is kind of your just basic spoon. They come in wooden, you can get them in silicone, you can get them in metal. These are your basic tongs. Again, you can get metal, you can get plastic, you can get silicone, it doesn't matter. All works the same. Here's another one. Peeler. They come in all different sizes, all different shapes. What I put on the pantry list is kind of what I think you should start off with, but as of right now I think it's great to just kind of look and see what your options are and see what you want to build on, and that's kind of what Kitchenability is all about.